Hello, everyone. It's Natalie here sharing my journey with you all. My roots are in a modest family background where luxury was a word not often experienced firsthand. My life took a fascinating turn when I met Austin, my better half, who hailed from an affluent background. Both his parents were beneficiaries of substantial inheritances, which paved the way for a comfortable life for Austin. Not just born into wealth, Austin also possessed a sharp intellect, which he leveraged to carve out a successful entrepreneurial path for himself. On my end, I was holding my ground in a high-level position, navigating life with grace despite my middle-class upbringing. This contrast in our backgrounds never posed an issue for us, except when it came to dealing with my mother-in-law, Doris. Doris, in stark contrast to my kind-hearted father-in-law, Willie, seemed to have taken it upon herself to be the thorn in my side. She often belittled my family and me, attempting to overshadow us with her wealth and social standing. This relentless behavior of hers was a constant source of distress, so much so that it nearly drove a wedge between Austin and me. However, Austin's unwavering love and support were the anchors that kept me from drifting away. As years passed, I somewhat acclimatized to Doris's antics, learning how to sidestep her provocations, so when she flaunted an outrageously expensive wedding dress she intended to wear to our wedding, I wasn't as shocked as one might expect. Her choice was deliberately flamboyant, a clear attempt to overshadow my modest selection. The dress, she boasted, came from a high-end boutique, a subtle jab at our decision to host a simple, intimate wedding to avoid unnecessary expenditure. Austin and I had envisioned a small ceremony, inviting only our closest 50 or so friends and family to keep the event personal and budget-friendly. My wedding gown, though beautiful, was understated and affordably priced, a stark contrast to Doris's extravagant pick. Her intent was clear. She aimed to be the center of attention, outshining the bride on her special day. The tension escalated when I dared to suggest that her dress was perhaps too much for the occasion. Doris's response was fierce and unyielding, adamant about her choice despite the obvious inappropriateness. Her defense? The dress cost her $12,000, and she felt entitled to wear it, no matter the context or the discomfort it caused. Letting the situation simmer, Austin took a firm stance, trying to mediate the escalating tension. "Mom, you have to reconsider. Natalie's right. Your dress is far too extravagant for the modest celebration we're planning. We need you to choose something more fitting." However, Doris was unyielding, her pride intertwined with her choice of attire. "Absolutely not, Austin. I adore this dress. I won't settle for just any dress like your wife did. I have my standards. Remember, it's also a significant day for me as your mother." This declaration ignited a fiery dispute, with Doris steadfast in her decision to wear the contentious dress, drawing Austin and Willie into a heated argument. The altercation reached such a fever pitch that we felt compelled to leave early, leaving the issue unresolved. Austin was at his wits' end. "It's unbelievable what she's trying to pull off. I'm at a point where I don't even want her at the wedding," he confessed, frustration evident in his voice. Yet I cautioned against making any hasty decisions. If we decide to exclude her, she might react even more dramatically, potentially creating bigger issues. Despite her assurance, we know she'll wear whatever she pleases. Maybe there's a better approach to this. Austin pondered, reflecting on the years of tension between Doris and my family. "She's been nothing but cruel, and I can't stand her belittling you constantly. It has to stop. I don't want her ruining our wedding day." With that, we recognized the need for a thoughtful strategy, one that could ensure our wedding day remained undisturbed by Doris's theatrics. After several discussions, Austin, Willie, and I devised a plan, carefully orchestrating every detail to sidestep any potential drama from Doris. Our plan was meticulous, leaving nothing to chance, and importantly, Doris was kept in the dark, blissfully unaware as we subtly diverted her attention away from the wedding specifics. In the days leading up to the wedding, Doris remained oblivious, consumed with visions of upstaging the bride. During a family dinner, she couldn't hide her excitement. "Oh, I just can't wait for the wedding, Austin. My dress and jewelry are all set. It's going to be a day to remember." Little did she know, we had a carefully crafted plan in place, ensuring our wedding day would be memorable for all the right reasons, with or without her controversial choice of attire. Austin, trying to keep the atmosphere light, responded to his mother's excitement with a gentle nod. "I'm sure it will be a memorable day, Mom. I'm looking forward to marrying Natalie." Doris, however, couldn't help but compare herself to Natalie, somewhat dismissively. "Sure, Natalie might look nice, but I doubt she'll outshine me. Have you seen my gown, Austin? It cost a fortune. Natalie's dress won't hold a candle to mine." Acknowledging Doris's dress, Austin diplomatically complimented, "Yes, Mom, your dress is indeed stunning. You'll look beautiful." Doris, basking in the compliment, replied, "Of course I have an eye for quality. I've always been part of high society. I can't settle for less, especially not for a wedding. I plan to dazzle everyone, which is why I've even booked a renowned makeup artist." Her words, once again, betrayed her view of the wedding as her spectacle rather than celebrating her son's union. Both Austin and Willie caught the slip but chose not to engage, avoiding the potential for conflict. Inwardly amused by Doris's blatant self-centeredness, I found solace in Austin's support, his hand reassuringly in mine. Then Willie, ever the peacemaker, subtly steered the conversation, playing into our plan. "Wow, Doris, you're going all out for a wedding that's not even yours. Weren't you planning to get ready with Natalie's team?" Doris scoffed at the idea. "Absolutely not, Willie. I demand only the best. As the mother of the groom, it's only fitting, and I'll be getting ready at home, away from the crowd. I'll have my precious jewelry with me. The risk of theft is too high among people unaccustomed to such luxury." "Getting ready at home sounds like the best plan," Willie agreed, aligning perfectly with our strategy. "With all your preparations, it makes sense for you to have your space. I'll be heading to the venue early with Natalie to get ready there. We wouldn't want to rush you and risk ruining your makeup." Doris, pleased with the arrangement and oblivious to the underlying implications, expressed her gratitude. "That's very considerate, Willie. I appreciate being able to travel to the venue by myself, in luxury no less." The conversation seamlessly played into our strategy, setting the stage for a wedding day that would unfold according to our carefully laid plans, without Doris's theatrics overshadowing the true celebration of love and unity. The idea of making a grand entrance thrilled Doris, who saw it as the crowning jewel of her meticulously planned appearance. "This will make the day absolutely magical. Thank you, Willie, for such a brilliant suggestion." Doris beamed, continuing to elaborate on her envisioned spectacle, completely unaware of the strategic maneuver unfolding around her. Meanwhile, Willie shared a knowing wink with us, confirming our ruse was firmly in place. Doris's enthusiasm for her special day, focused on her attire, makeup, and the anticipated dramatic entrance, provided Austin and me with a moment of lighthearted relief amidst the wedding planning stress. She was utterly oblivious to the fact that she was ensnared in a scheme designed to sideline her theatrics, ensuring the day would unfold without her anticipated disruption. With Doris distracted by her grand plans, I finally found a moment of peace, allowing me to shift my focus back to the essence of the wedding, celebrating our love. The worry that our plan might be discovered lingered in the back of my mind, but Austin and my friends reassured me, bolstering my spirits. Everything was arranged flawlessly, and for the first time in a long while, I was genuinely excited about my wedding day. It felt like reclaiming the day as ours, not overshadowed by Doris's grandiose expectations. The wedding day dawned bright and beautiful, the weather perfectly mirroring my hopeful mood. Willie, ever so reliable, arrived at the venue early, checking in to ensure all was proceeding as planned. His presence was a comforting reminder of the support system surrounding us. Despite my lingering nerves, Willie's assurance that everything was under control, and Doris's obliviousness to the actual day's schedule eased my mind. "Don't worry, everything's on track," Willie reassured me, his words a balm to my anxious heart. Expressing gratitude to Willie felt inadequate for the monumental role he played in ensuring the day remained ours. He had become more than just a father-in-law. He was a cherished member of my family. "Your family, and that's all there is to it," he said, emphasizing that the day would unfold exactly as we envisioned, with the focus solely on the celebration of our union. Feeling immensely grateful for having such a supportive figure in my life, especially in contrast to Doris's challenging demeanor, I prepared for the ceremony. The wedding, in every sense, was a dream realized not just in the decor and proceedings, but in the emotions that filled the day. Walking down the aisle, I saw the look of love and admiration in Austin's eyes, a moment of pure connection that eclipsed all else, affirming that all the planning, all the strategizing, had been worth it to reach this point of unbridled joy. As I walked down the aisle, tears welled up in both my eyes and those of my newlywed husband. The intimate gathering was perfect for us, consisting solely of those who held significant places in our hearts. Among the attendees was Willie, whose silent support was invaluable during this momentous occasion. You might be wondering about the whereabouts of my mother-in-law Doris during all of this. She did make an appearance, but not in the way she had envisioned. Dressed in her extravagant $12,000 gown and adorned with diamond jewelry, Doris expected to be the center of attention as she stepped out of her luxury car. The reality, however, was a stark contrast to her expectations. She was greeted by an empty venue, a sight that left her both shocked and slightly panicked, as evident from the confusion and urgency in her voice when she phoned Austin. "Austin, what's happening? Why is nobody here? I can't find anyone, and the staff are no help. Where is everybody?" she inquired, bewildered. "We're at the real wedding, Mom, the one you weren't invited to," Austin explained, trying to suppress his laughter, imagining the astonishment on Doris's face. Even Willie couldn't help but smile at the unfolding scenario. Doris's confusion escalated, prompting me to interject with a slight tease, highlighting the irony of her situation given her usual poise and sophistication. Her frustration was palpable as she directed her ire towards me before turning back to Austin in search of clarity. Austin clarified, "Yes, Mom, you're at the wrong venue. We did initially book that place, but opted for a more suitable location where we just got married." Her disbelief turned into desperation as she tried to grasp the reality of the situation. "You already got married? How could you not inform me sooner? This is absurd." Attempting to cut through her denial, Austin firmly reminded her of the boundaries we had set. "Mom, I made it clear you weren't invited to the actual wedding." Doris's refusal to accept the truth was evident. She clung to the belief that this was all an elaborate prank, unable to fathom that her son would intentionally exclude her to prevent any disruptions she might cause. As her disbelief persisted, Austin's patience wore thin. His frustration boiled over into anger as he confronted her delusion head-on. It was a moment that underscored the lengths we had gone to ensure our wedding day remained a celebration of our love, untainted by drama or interruption, even if it meant making the difficult decision to exclude someone so integral to our lives. Upon Doris's insistent interruptions, Austin firmly stated his stance. After everything you've done, especially with your outrageous dress intentions, how could you think I'd want you overshadowing Natalie on our day? You're my mother, yes, but that doesn't excuse your actions. Doris, indignant, couldn't grasp why her choice of dress would lead to such a fallout. I'm your mother. It's my right to celebrate too. I can't believe you're sidelining me over a dress. Austin was unwavering. No, Mom, this isn't about your right to celebrate. It's about our right to have a day focused on us, not clouded by your attempts to belittle Natalie. I've tolerated your behavior for far too long, but not today. This day belongs to us. With those final words, Austin ended the call, despite Doris's persistent attempts to reach out to him and even Willie. We continued to celebrate with our loved ones, trying to keep the unwelcome drama at bay. During a brief moment alone, my phone rang, displaying Doris's number. Bracing myself, I answered, only to be met with her furious accusations. You've bewitched my son against me. You orchestrated this whole scenario, exploiting his loyalty to you over our family bond. Responding calmly, I clarified, Doris, you're mistaken. Austin makes his own decisions, guided by what he believes is right. His choice to exclude you was his own, though I won't deny that I supported it. Doris's anger spiraled, accusing me of jealousy and manipulation. I countered, emphasizing that her actions and hostility towards me and my family were the true sources of any discord. I expressed pity for her inability to see the situation for what it was, assuring her that Austin saw through her behavior without my influence. Her threats to confront me at the reception were met with indifference. Threats won't work on me, Doris. If you believe your presence is wanted, by all means attempt to join us. I returned to the reception, aware that Doris's potential entrance would only serve to isolate her further. The community gathered there supported our decision, understanding the necessity of keeping our celebration focused on love and unity. As anticipated, Doris's dramatic appearance only showcased her unwillingness to accept the boundaries we had established, resulting in an inevitable public fallout that underscored the justification of our choices. Her actions, rather than causing disruption, only cemented the solidarity among our guests, leaving her standing alone outside the circle of celebration when Doris, clad in her lavish wedding attire and meticulously done makeup, was denied entry by the venue's security. Her frustration became a spectacle. Her attempts to force her way in made her look out of place, causing a stir that captured the attention of our guests who gathered to see the unfolding drama. Austin, upon seeing his mother's disruptive behavior, confronted her with visible frustration. Mom, what's going on with you? I made it clear you weren't welcome today. Why can't you respect our wishes? Doris, playing the victim, accused me of orchestrating her exclusion, suggesting Austin was merely succumbing to my alleged jealousy. Son, this is all her doing. She's envious of me, Austin retorted, emphasizing the absurdity of her claims. Mom, listen to yourself. Jealous? You're the one who intentionally chose an opulent dress to overshadow my wife despite knowing our budget constraints. This wasn't about looking pretty, it was about making a statement at her expense. As Doris sought sympathy from Willie, hoping he'd side with her, the guests' disapproval was palpable, their expressions ranging from disbelief to disdain for her antics. Willie, however, was far from sympathetic, his patience with Doris exhausted. That's not just any dress, Doris. It's meant for a bride. You're out here causing a scene, trying to defend an indefensible position. Look around, nobody here supports your logic. Doris's attempt to justify her actions by disparaging our guests only fueled the fire. They don't understand my standards. They're not from our social circle. Willie's rebuke was swift and firm, signaling a definitive break in his tolerance. Enough, Doris, you've gone too far. Insulting my son's wife and her family is where I draw the line. You're not just attacking them, You're attacking me. They are my family now." His defense of me, referring to me as family, was both shocking and heartwarming, solidifying the bond we'd formed. Doris's outrage at being publicly reprimanded by her husband was palpable. "Willie, how dare you take their side over your wife's? We're supposed to be above them." But Willie's disillusionment was clear. This marriage was a mistake from the start if it meant upholding these toxic values over genuine relationships. "Your actions today have shown me the true extent of the harm." In that moment, it was evident that the ties that bound us were not of blood, but of respect, understanding, and mutual support. Austin, his father, and I were united, not just by our marriage, but by our shared values, in stark contrast to Doris's divisive and disruptive behavior. Willie's declaration was clear and final. "I'm putting an end to this madness, Doris. I can't bear another day with your toxicity. It's over between us." Doris, bewildered, demanded clarification, to which Willie solemnly replied, "I'm filing for divorce. I've tolerated your behavior for the sake of our family, especially for Austin, but enough is enough. Your negative influence has to be removed from our lives for good." Echoing his father's sentiment, Austin took a stand as well. "And as for us, Mom, Natalie and I will no longer welcome you in our lives. Don't bother reaching out. It's time I prioritize my wife's well-being over any familial obligation to you." The reality of her situation dawned on Doris. Dependent on Willie and Austin for financial support, the prospect of a divorce meant the imminent collapse of her luxurious lifestyle. With a prenuptial agreement in place, her financial security was precarious at best. Doris's past spending, including the lavish $12,000 on her dress, had already strained her finances. Now, facing separation, she stood to lose everything. This turn of events was not unexpected for us. Willie, Austin, and I had discussed the possibility extensively, recognizing that distancing ourselves from Doris was necessary for our peace of mind. Doris, however, was blindsided by the unified front against her, never imagining her actions would lead to such dire consequences. Her desperation became palpable as she realized the gravity of her situation. Tears streaming down her face, she pleaded with Willie and Austin, unable to accept the reality that her own actions had precipitated her downfall. "It's just a dress. How can my own family abandon me over something so trivial?" she lamented, failing to see the cumulative impact of her actions beyond the dress controversy. "You've been more than just difficult, Mom. Your treatment of Natalie was inexcusable. Did you really think we'd stand by and let it continue?" Austin confronted her, his disappointment evident. Doris's appeal for sympathy was met with a stark reminder from Willie. "You've earned this, Doris. Your actions, your refusal to apologize to Natalie, it's all led to this moment. You've been an unsupportive partner and a negative force in our lives." Seeing an opportunity amidst her despair, Doris turned her pleas towards me, desperately seeking forgiveness. Clutching at my arms, she implored, "Natalie, please, I'm sorry for everything. Can you forgive me?" Her gesture was an attempt to salvage what little connection remained, but the damage was too profound, the actions too hurtful. The path to reconciliation, if any, would be long and uncertain, contingent on genuine change and remorse from Doris, a journey that had only just begun at the precipice of her realization. Doris's plea for forgiveness quickly morphed into accusations when she sensed her apology wasn't well received. "I'll change, I promise. Please don't take my family from me," she implored, not fully grasping the gravity of her past actions. However, her tone shifted dramatically upon facing rejection. "So, nothing I do is ever right for you, is it? You've always wanted to see me fall. Well, congratulations, you've got your wish," she snapped, revealing her true colors once again. This rapid change in demeanor only solidified our decision. Austin, witnessing her outburst, directed security to escort her off the premises. Meanwhile, the gathered guests voiced their disapproval of her behavior, making it clear she had no support among us. Following the tumultuous event, we resumed our celebration, truly grateful for the presence of genuine friends and family who stood by us through thick and thin. The next day, Willie, having witnessed enough, took decisive steps to remove Doris from his life. He instructed her to vacate their shared home and had his attorney officially serve her with divorce papers. Doris's reaction was predictably volatile, resorting to tears, threats, and futile attempts to sway Willie's decision. When her efforts to confront us directly were met with indifference, her isolation became complete. In the end, Doris faced the repercussions of her actions alone. The divorce left her financially strained, her manipulative tactics bearing no fruit. Despite her pleas for assistance, we maintained our distance, ensuring our new family remained untouched by her toxicity. Last we heard, Doris had returned to her hometown, her attempts to leverage her name for employment, a stark contrast to her former life of perceived superiority and extravagance. It seemed she was finally confronting the reality she had long avoided, a fitting outcome for someone who had prioritized appearances and manipulation over genuine relationships. As for us, our lives moved forward positively without her interference. The hope that Doris would learn from this experience and refrain from causing further turmoil lingered, but our focus remained on nurturing the healthy and supportive environment we had fought so hard to protect.